Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to a Therapeutic Edge. I have something very, very cool on the table. This is a review-ish, because you're not going to find one of these. Hell, I couldn't find one of these. Our dear friend, Napster Ninja, knows that I have a thing for old Benchmades. And so he reached out to me and went, I got something you're going to want to see. And he was not wrong. Napster is a really good knife modder. He made something for Women Carry Knives that she's going to share with you down the road. He's just a committed knife collector who also is really good at not only just picking cool scales, by the way, but also like dyeing and modding and acid washing. Anyway, he's a cool dude. This is the full-size Onslaught from Benchmade. This is a Lum design. This is 7 or 8 years old at this point. I have one of my favorite knives is the mini Onslaught. I know I'm a big knife guy, but this is what I could find. And I am super happy with it. This is a fantastic knife, but look at that. The full-size Onslaught is insane, and I absolutely love it. So let's take a look at what you get. First and foremost, as you may have noticed, it is a monster knife. This is not tiny, right? It's just normal knife-sized. The full-size Onslaught is an absolute folding machete, and I just love it for that. They share the blade shape, share handle shape. They also, interestingly enough, basically shared the same pocket clip. Now, this pocket clip it's awful. I'm not going to lie. On mine, it was bright silver, and it ate up a much larger chunk of the knife because this is a smaller knife. Now, I went out and found a titanium deep carry clip from Pop's custom carry over on Etsy. That's not necessary on the full size. Even though it is the same kind of awful pocket clip, the knife is so big, it makes sense over here. They share, of course, design. This one happens to be 900 of 1,000. Am I going to show up? Let me see. Actually, yeah, there we go. First production, 900 of 1,000. Just amazing. Anyway, I don't know. I love stuff like this. Would I want one? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to continue the hunt. He's just really got a knack for finding these things. So let's take a look at what you get. It is G10. It is their 154 CM, which I love Benchmade's 154 CM. They do a really great job with it. It's got this beautiful swedge, just like the Mini, right? This is one of those rare cases where they really did just shrink down the knife, and it works in both ways. Now, let me rephrase that. It works for me. It may not work for everybody, and here's why. I have relatively large hands, and this is a big handle. I mean, it's really, really a handful even for me. And I think if you had smaller hands, this might just be sort of absurdist. But for me, it works really well. And, well, we'll get to that in a minute. It's steel liners, which are milled. I'm not sure that's going to show up on camera. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to get in there. But there are good-sized milling holes in there, so you can see the back of the G10. Of course, has their axis lock. It's got a really interesting backspacer, as you can see, which is plastic and runs 3/4 of the length of the knife. It sticks up a little bit, gives it a little bit of feeling through here, which is nice. One of our animals is getting into our Christmas stuff. The backspacer on this one is not quite silver. It's sort of almost a pewter, kind of a brownish gray. Matches the pivot really nicely. On mine, it was silver, and so this is silver. It has black hardware, other than that. Interestingly enough, they have very similar blade stocks. Is it showing up? Yeah, look at that. Which means while this one is very slicey, the full size is even slicier because the drop from this swedged area is really long. This thing comes down to a really nice edge. Really well done. They both have the same little sharpening notch at the base of the blade right at the bottom of the plunge. They are, excuse me, they are both hole deployed, right? So you can just flick this. Oh God, they're both so good, right? They are fun to deploy, easy to use, great to carry. Even this monster is comfortable to carry because the G10 is so smooth. But because of the shape, you never feel like you're going to lose this knife. If you hold it back here, either one, at the sort of mandatory choil area back here, you are fairly far away from the blade. But because they're flat, I'll just put that here so you can see it. Because it's flat here, you can choke up really easily on this knife. This thing is great for draw cuts. It is great for, sort of push cuts. It is absolutely pokey enough if you needed to give something a jab. The G10 is milled out, so your fingers land in this sort of spot back here. Everything on this knife is built to make you feel like you have a secure grip on it, and I just love that. I am so sad that Benchmade doesn't make stuff like this anymore. But I'm glad to have an opportunity to look at it. This, of course, is the 741. The little one is the 746, for those of you that keep track of Benchmade numbers. I don't. At least, not really well. I should. Action on this one is exceptionally good. This one does favor the lock side just a little bit. Excuse me, the clip side just a little bit. If it were mine, I'd probably take it apart and see if I can rectify that, but this belongs to Napster Ninja, so I'm going to leave it alone. I am going to carry it like he asked me to, and I am going to use it. I have been already, but I'm going to continue doing that until I get a chance to get it back to him. Sorry, Napster, I lost it. It's just not going to work. He knows better, but man, what an awesome score. Let's go ahead and do the specs just for giggles. Yeah, let's do that. You get 4 inches, just shy of 4 inches of cutting on 4 1/4 inches of 154 cm blade steel. The grip area is going to be in 2 stages. So from behind this spot, which is kind of where they want your finger to go, you're looking at 1, 2, 3 3/4 down here to the bottom, which is, my hand fills it out like that. However, if you come up a little bit, put your finger sort of right in here, right? So then you're looking, let's do it from here to here. You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 3/4. You pick up a full inch. Comfortable grip, 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4 inch. It's just a big knife. Cats have been walking on my board. From tip to tail, we are 8, 9 3/4 inches long. It is almost a 10-inch knife. That makes me very happy. We'll do some size comparisons just so you get a better idea. Let's put that sort of in the middle there. Again, here it is against the Mini. And, boy, did they mean Mini, right? That's fine. Here it is against something I added to the collection recently that some of you may know. Here it is against a Sebenza 31 from Chris Reeve. As you can see, the Onslaught is just way bigger. Here it is against a full-size Griptilian, which doesn't look nearly so full-size when confronted with the massive Onslaught. And then just for giggles, here it is against a bug out. I mean, a closed bug out will comfortably fit in the handle of the full-size Onslaught. This is a great knife. There was a time when companies like Benchmade and even Spyderco and the big 3 basically were sort of fearless, right? I mean, just willing to take a designer's design and just run with it. And I'm not going to lie, I miss those days a bunch. I mean, I love the little bug out. It's a nice knife, but come on. Anyway, you okay? Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and grab the magic calipers and see how much of this 154 cm steel they give you. And then I'll do the Mini as well because I'm curious. Inexpensive calipers are inexpensive. All right, so we're looking at 3 millimeters right? Reasonably thin blade stock, even on this massive blade. The mini is 2.83 millimeters. So, I mean, often when you get a full-size knife and a mini, you get a big thick slice of the blade steel on the large, and then a much noticeably smaller slice on the mini. But in this case, the large is a better slicer, not by much, but just a little bit because of how much more drop you get down to that edge. These are cool and they're fun. One of these days. Anyway, there you have it. This is the full-size Onslaught from Benchmade. Unfortunately, the designer has passed away, which tells me we will likely never get another one of these. And that is a crying shame, because this is cool. I mean, with Benchmade leaning into things like M4 and crew wear, and I mean, come on, right? This thing in crew wear, full liners. This thing would be awesome. It's awesome now. It's not that heavy because of the amount of milling they do. Let's go ahead and weigh it out before we move on. Magic scale. I don't know why it's magic calipers and magic scale, but it is today, and that's what we're going to go with. Okay. Yeah, 6.8 ounces, right? It's not light. The mini is 3.9. It isn't light, but it really is twice as much knife. It's just crazy. It's not that much thicker. It really isn't. It's just bigger. I love this thing. Napster, thank you so much, dude. What a fantastic opportunity. We actually got to spend some time with him at a outdoor, it's a pew pew show, it was a gun show in Vallejo recently. The nice thing about him being a local guy is we get to see him fairly often, but he was nice enough to drive all the way out there and put this just monster in my hands. It is a joy to use. It is. The clip, which I've talked about already, while not attractive, is very comfortable, right? So there's no hot spots. The handle itself is a monster, but that means that there's just tons of grip. There's tons of belly. The work that I've done with this knife since I got it, and well, what does that look like? Well, I've done all the things I usually do. Paracord, seatbelt material, rubber tubing, cardboard, just to get an idea of what it will do. It's an absolutely fabulous working tool. And it's interesting looking, and it's a monster. And Benchmade, do this again. I can hear you folks out there saying, well, they make the Adamas. They do. The Adamas is a big knife, but it ain't this big. So there you have it. This is the full-size Onslaught. This is first production. This is a kick-ass pocket knife, and I am very, very honored and glad to have had the opportunity to take a look at it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this sort of walk down Benchmade history, memory lane, as it were. And I guess that's where we're going to wrap it up. If you collect knives and you get a drive for a particular brand like I've got going on with Benchmade right now, stuff like this, amazing stuff from the vaults, is just a joy. It really is. It just makes me happy having the opportunity to take a look at this thing. So thank you very much, Napster Ninja. Thank you, all of you, for the opportunity to share this with you. Thank you for watching and being a part of the channel. I appreciate you. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next time.